لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers and sisters, inshallah ta'ala, this morning we're going to take some of the benefit from Tafsir al-Shaykh Abdul Rahman bin Nasir al-Sa'di rahimahullah, Tafsir of Surah al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الْمَلَإِ مِنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ مِنْ بَعْدِ مُوسَى إِذْ قالوا لنبي لهم ابعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله قال هل عسيتم إن كتب عليكم القتال ألا تقاتلوا قالوا وما لنا ألا نقاتل في سبيل الله وقد أخرجنا من ديارنا وأبنائنا فلما كتب عليهم القتال تولوا إلا قليلا منهم والله عليم بالظالمين وقال لهم نبيهم إن الله قد بعث لكم طالوت ملكا قالوا أنى يكون له الملك علينا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة من المال قال إن الله اصطفاه عليكم وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم والله يؤتي ملكه من يشاء والله واسع عليم وقال لهم نبيهم إن آية ملكه أن يأتيكم التابوت فيه سكينة من ربكم وبقية مما ترك آل موسى وآل هارون تحمله الملائكة إن في ذلك لآية لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the meaning of which have you not considered about the leaders from the children of Israel after the time of Moses, peace be upon him, when they said to their prophet, appoint for us a king, and we will fight in Allah's cause. He said, would you then refrain from fighting, if fighting was prescribed for you? They said, why should we not fight in Allah's cause while we have been expelled from our homes and from our children? But when fighting was ordered for them, they turned away, all except a few. And Allah is fully aware of the wrongdoers. The Prophet said to them, Allah has appointed Talut, Saul, as a king over you. They said, how can he be a king over us when we are more entitled than him, and he has not been given an abundance of wealth? He said, Allah has indeed chosen him above you and has increased him abundantly in knowledge and stature. Allah grants his authority to whom he wills. He is all-encompassing, all-knowing. The Prophet said to them, the sign of his authority will be that the ark will come to you carried by angels, in which is assurance from your Lord and a remnant of what the family of Musa and Aaron left behind. In this is a sign for you if you are true believers. Shaykh Abdul Rahman bin Sa'di rahimahullah, he said, in these noble verses, Allah recounts to his prophet an incident regarding the chieftains of the Israelis. The chieftains are specifically mentioned as they are usually the ones who discuss matters among themselves and then conclude a unanimous decision for others to follow. The incident goes like this. The chieftains came to their prophet, who came after Musa, and said to him, appoint for us a king, and we will fight in Allah's cause, so that the nation can be united, and we become able to fight our enemies. At that time, they probably did not have a common leader, as is customary in tribal societies. People of one tribe do not like to have someone from another tribe become their chief. So they requested their prophet to nominate a king, whom everyone would accept. For the Israelites, it was the responsibility of the prophets to provide guidance about political matters. When one prophet died, Allah would send another prophet in his place. When they made the preceding request to the Prophet, he replied, would you then refrain from fighting if fighting was prescribed for you? It means perhaps you are demanding a thing that you yourself might not be able to comply with after it has been made mandatory for you. Although the acceptance of this advice from the Prophet was in their favor, they instead relied on their own intention and wish and said, why should we not fight in Allah's cause while we have been expelled from our homes and from our children? What objection shall we have in performing jihad when we have been compelled to leave our homeland and our families and children have been made captives? In such circumstances, even if Allah was not to send His commandment for us to wage jihad, we would still fight. After all that has happened to us and jihad is made mandatory, why then will we not fight? However, their intentions were not true, and their reliance on Allah was not strong. Hence, when fighting was ordered for them, they turned away. They did not find the gallantry for jihad, the strength and the courage to do it. And because of their cowardice, they did not face the enemy. Their false resolutions ebbed like scum. Subhanallah. The majority of them were overcome by their feelings of cowardice, except a few. Those who were granted steadfastness by Allah, their heart became strong. They, obeying Allah's commandment, showed gallantry and fought against the enemy and were endowed with respect in both this world and the hereafter. However, the majority of them oppressed their own selves by disobeying Allah's commandment. Hence Allah declares, and Allah is fully aware of the wrongdoers. The Prophet said to them in response to their request, Allah has appointed Talut, Saul, as a king over you. Since his nomination was by Allah, they should have obeyed it and refrained from raising objections. But they objected and said, how can he be a king over us when we are more entitled than him, and he has not been given an abundance of wealth? This, like last night, same. Yes. How can he become our king, since he is inferior to us in nobility and stature, while we have more right to rule? Additionally, he is poor and unprivileged and has no wealth to sustain his rule. Subhanallah. Their objection was based on the wrong assumption, which was the essentiality of belonging to a family of high stature and wealth in order to become a king or a leader. They were not aware that there are other factors and traits that are of higher importance and of real eminence. Therefore, their Prophet replied, Allah has indeed chosen him above you. So it is mandatory for you to accept him as a leader, and has increased him abundantly in knowledge and stature, and has given superiority over you. Has given him superiority over you in knowledge and stature. He has been endowed with both physical and mental strength, and matters of government can only be properly run with these two traits. When someone has the traits of perfect intellect and decisive power, and has the strength to implement his decisions, only then he has achieved capability as a leader. However, if he lacks strength in any of these two, then the system will not run properly. If the ruler is physically strong but lacks intellect, then lawlessness and oppression will rise in the country, and the power of his government will not be established properly. On the other hand, if he is intelligent enough to understand the matters of state, but lacks the power of to implement his orders, then his intelligence will be of no use. So it has to be both mental strength and physical strength. Allah is all encompassing. That is, He is extremely benevolent and beneficent, and never deprives anyone of His general blessing. Rather, everyone, be big or small, derives benefit from it. Alone with this. Now, small, big or small, derives benefit from it. Alone with this, He is all-knowing. He knows well who is the most deserving of being endowed with a particular blessing, and thus grants him that blessing. With this communication, all their doubts and apprehensions were removed by making clear to them that Talut possessed all the attributes of a ruler. Allah gives whatever He wants to whomever He wills from among His servants, and no one can stop Him. After this, the Prophet directed them to pay attention to another physical sign that they would witness with their own eyes, which was the recovery of the ark that had been lost since long ago. This ark contained things for the comfort of their hearts and mind, and were the things that were left by the descendant of Musa and Harun, peace be upon them. The people witnessed the angels carrying that ark. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.